Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tier 2 of TnB. It's first broadcast in round 5, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the Yas Marina circuit. We've just started off with Q1, still 16 minutes remaining in the session. A couple of cars already out on track. Haven't been in the commentary box for quite some time, and unfortunately I don't know a lot of the guys in this league, but I'm sure I'll know everybody a little bit better after this race. No times as of yet. See, at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, more of one of the recent additions to the F1 calendar, but it's not that recent. It's actually been held 9 times. And obviously it's had the very same title sponsor since its inception in 2009. Hence all the blue markings around the circuit. That's Staffy now in the Alpha on what seems to be a hot lap. No one's gotten a time down just yet. It'll be interesting to see when the first times come down what the pace looks like. Got 5 viewers on the stream already. Haven't actually checked who those are. Let me have a look. Ronald on what appears to be a fast lap. Just getting hindered there by traffic. It's not going to help his lap time. We do have the first lap time on the board. Staffy. Obviously he'll have pole for now, the only lap time on the board. It's a 1:36.64. Showing pace early on. Keep on coming down as the session progresses. And there we go, Wolf takes that lap time away. Staffy said a 1:36.6. Wolf goes over in a 1:36.1. So already getting close to the 1:35s. And we still have 12 minutes remaining in Q1. Still waiting for 10 drivers to put a lap time down. Just 3 of the 13. And all of them find themselves in the 1:36s. Renault driver Tix goes over the line. He sets his lap time a 1:36.8. Very, very close to Blixenp. Just 300ths of a second. Have a look at Death Seeker now, the other Renault. It's right on board with him. Obviously coming out of that hairpin, it's so important, the acceleration, the exit, because now you head down this long straight, and in order to really get that top speed, acceleration's got to be perfect. Into another braking zone, very tight, twisty part of the circuit, and then into another DRS zone. difficult track to find just the right setup for. It's got the twisty bits where you need the downforce, and it's got the straights that you really do not want the downforce. So you've really got to fiddle with your setup, fine tune, and just find something you're going to be comfortable with, but still be quick. Cowboy now in 6th place, so 140.3. I believe that's Mark. Dead Seeker goes 6th for now with a 138.5. And, well, he goes 5th. And into turn 1, he's lost his front right. So that's the end of Dead Seeker. He won't be playing any further part in the qualifying session. It's a pity. With a decent lap time, would have gotten into Q2. Well, everybody here will get into Q2 just by finishing the qualifying session, just the 12 runners. But then obviously going into Q3, we're going to lose 2 of those runners and just have a top 10 shootout. I see a lot of cloud about. Dark clouds. Don't know if there's going to be any rain. We are in the desert, so it would be quite strange, but definitely a lot of cloud about. And then if anybody knows the forecast, let me know. Right on board now with Springbok Gamer, currently in 7th place. Got a 138.4. Going around in his Merc on what appears to be the Hypersofts. I say appears because I'm not that confident. This game has made me look quite silly in the past. Looks like Hypersofts. That was his first lap. And I've done them on Hypersofts. Obviously in Q2, that's when it gets important what tyre you qualify on, because that's going to be the tyre you start the race on. So already in Q2 you need to have an idea of what your strategy is going into the race. That initial lap time that was set by the Wolf, 136.1. It's still provisional pole. Daffy's still in second with a 136.6, if I'm not mistaken. That was his first lap. Dixon P, 136.8 in third, but he's retired from the session. Hasn't gone to the bottom of the list, so I think he retired because he thinks the lap is good enough. It wasn't an accident. Ronald in 5th with a 136.9. Don't really know if he's holding back. Don't know much about the driver, just know that he is leading the championship, and he's done a fantastic job so far. But currently in 5th, I think he's got more in him. Cowboy 33 in 6th place. Springbok Gamer in 7th. I would love to pronounce that, but honestly I don't know where to start. That I have no idea. 8th place. We'll just say 8th place. And in 9th got Thomas. That's just changed. Pitt has taken 8th place with a 138.5. That takes Thomas down to 10th. And then we've just got two drivers, yet to make a lap time. We're with the judge. He's on his first fast lap. See what kind of lap time he can put down. Going around the final corner now. See the pit straight in front of him. He goes over the line. Well, thanks to the stats again. But that was a out lap. Henno still in the pits. Hasn't set a lap time. Hasn't left the pits. Maybe waiting for the end. So now that top 5 is unchanged. No real need actually. Gonna go through to Q2. It's only 12 runners. Can start thinking about what tyre you want to start on. From what I've heard, if you start on Hypersoft, they're gonna have about an 11 lap lifespan. If he goes fast, as he betters his time, it's now 135.7, and that increases the gap between first and second place to now 9/10 of a second. So putting in some pretty fast lap times, but it's Q1 after all. Still 4 minutes remaining in the session. Gonna ride along with Judge. Hasn't set the time as of yet. You want to put a lap down so that he can just get an idea of his pace going forward. Goes over the line now, and he goes 10. 140.9. Going to push Thomas out of the top 10. Now in 11th place. And Henno has retired from the session. I need to learn how to pronounce this name. Is it Esotronic? I think it's Esotronic. There we go. I hope I got that right. Esotronic. He's in the Toro Rosso, Honda. And he's in 9th place, 140.8. He's back out on track, looking to better that lap time on another set of hypers. Interesting thing to note is that everybody has done their lap on hypers except for the judge. The judge is in 10th place and he did it on super softs. Maybe he doesn't like the super soft, just wants to get rid of it in Q1, but using it in Q1 obviously doesn't affect how you start the race. But these clouds do look ominous. Just riding along with the championship leader, Ronald, currently on a 136.9 in 5th place, also having another go. Got a few drivers out on track having another go. The Merc driver, Springbok Gamer, currently in 6th place, so looking just to take a few tenths off of that lap. And then there's a 1.1 second gap back to Cowboy 33 in 7th place, got a 138.4. Bit of a gap there between 6th and 7th. Ronald now 2nd place, that's a 136.1, and that'll be 0.4 of a second off the pace from Wolf. Wolf just did the 2 laps. He set pole and then he bettered it, and hasn't found the need to come out after that. Also got pit out on track in 8th place in the Ferrari. He's got a 138.5, and then he's actually the last runner in the 130s. Next driver is a 140.8. Seems we have a few gaps in the field, but remember that Judge did set that on supers, so he's definitely got more time in him. Don't really know what the time differential between the ultras and the hypers and the supers are, but tends to be close to about a second a lap. Depends on the circuit really. But losing it there, coming out of the final corner, manages to keep it together. That wouldn't have helped his lap time. He stays 7th, a 138.5. Just got the qualifying session has come to an end. Just got the 2 minutes remaining for who's already passed the checkered flag and is on their final hot lap. Who is on their final hot lap? Cowboys come into the pits, so he's not going to set the lap time. Which leaves one man out on track. And it's the name I cannot pronounce. I pronounced it earlier, but I have forgotten. I'll figure it out. It's going now around the final corner onto the pit straight. Let's see if he can improve from 8th. And he doesn't. So I think that will be your Q1 results. Well, that's the end of Q1. Obviously Wolf in 1st, Ronald in 2nd. He put that lap time in pretty late in the session. We've got Staffy in 3rd, Blixenp 4th, Tix in 5th, Cowboy 33 6th, Pitt in 7th. And I didn't get that top 10, but everyone will be going through to Q2, with the exception of Deathseeker. He set a really fast lap time and then lost it into turn 1 of the next corner. Well, this game does surprise me from time to time, and we've gone from Q3 to Q2, and it appears we've lost some drivers. Don't know why. But in Q2 we've just got the 10 runners. So I have no idea if we will lose any drivers going into Q3, and how many we will lose. Some cars already getting out on circuit immediately. This is just a 15-minute session. If you really play your cards right, maybe you'll get 3 goes at it. But you have to get going right from the beginning of the session. Let's have a look who's on track. Ronald is out on track. We've got 3 cars out on track. It's Ronald, Staffy and Pitt. That's the Force India, the Alpha and the Ferrari. Another car out on track. It says Esotronic ZA. So 4 cars out on their outlap. 6 cars remain in the pits. And as I mentioned earlier, something to take notice of is the tyres they use in this session. They are going to have to start the race on. Few cars out on their outlap that didn't set a fastest lap. They simply just went back into the pits. So maybe not sure of what tyre to go on. Thomas has retired from the session. Not sure if anything happened there or if he just retired. Didn't set any lap time. I didn't see him out on circuit. We've got 3 drivers who should be starting their quick laps. So let's keep an eye on them. Riding with Ronald in the number 30 Force India. Favorite color of a good friend of mine. Just won't mention any names. Just waiting for some lap times to be put down and see who does what on what tyre. So it's a very interesting session. But you really don't have to worry if you want to start on Ultrasoft. You can start on Ultrasoft. You're not going to fall out of Q3 unless there's any more surprises. I honestly didn't expect the top 10 shootout in Q2. Just going to stay with Ronald now in the Force India. I think he should be the first man to set the lap time. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was mistaken. Staffy's the first man to go over the line. He sets a 137.5. Ronald goes faster. It's a 136.0. Ronald set that 136.0 on a set of Hypersofts. Staffy did the 137.5 on a set of Ultras. Second and a half in there. Esotronic goes third with a 140.3. Also on a set of Hypers. Not really sure what happened with Pitt's lap over there, but he goes fourth in a 2:07. Clearly doing some time off the circuit. Blitzenp now goes second with a 136.7, becomes the second man to get into the 136s in this session. We've got Tix, he's going to go over the line now. He's starting a fast lap. Haven't raced much with him, but the little I have raced with him is, I know he's quick. Going around in the Renault. Also the man who got the fastest lap time in Q1, Wolf, he's also out on a fast lap, has not set a time as of yet. But he was extremely quick in the previous session. He's gone out on a set of Ultras. So obviously looking to go a little bit longer in that first stint of the race. Obviously all F1 Grand Prix have an average total length of 300 kilometers. 300 kilometers here at Abu Dhabi translates to 55 laps, and it's quite a challenging circuit. 55 laps around this circuit, I think that last 10 or 15 laps you're really going to feel it. 100% requires a lot of focus, and it's so easy to make a mistake. Still with Tux. I thought he was starting a fast lap, but I see he's doing a bit of weaving. So maybe not happy with that lap. Gonna give it another go. He goes over in a 1:43. That's obviously why he wasn't happy with that lap. Still waiting for 3 men to set a lap time. Waiting for Wolf. He goes over the line. He sets a 1:36.2. Not quite fast enough for Ronald. He's got a 1:36.0, so just 0.2 of a second. But more importantly, Wolf set that lap time on a set of ultra softs. So he is going to have the advantage in the race of being able to go a lot longer. Not quite sure what the lifespan will be on those ultra softs. Seven minutes remaining on the clock. Got 5 drivers in the pits. 3 of them have set lap times. 4 of them, 4 now. So obviously going into the pits, making some, if there's any minor changes that need to be made, any moderation, they're going to be doing it now. There's 2 drivers still in the pits that have not set lap times. That's Judge and Cowboy. Now obviously everybody in this session is in the top 10, so you're not going to have choice of tyre. So it's important to go out there and set a lap time on the tyre you want to start with. Let's have a look what action we have on track. We've got Wolf out on track, but I believe he's on an in-lap. Let's have a look at the Renault driver. Going down the long back straight now. Currently in 7th place with a 1:43.7, but I'm sure something went very wrong with that lap. He's got more pace than that. A lot more pace than that. Now Blux and PN staff here have retired from the session. They're obviously happy with their times. Currently 3rd and 4th. Tux just still going around looking for that something extra. Obviously over on the other side should have the option to watch the tier 1 race or the tier 2 race on our TnB YouTube channel. I actually have 2 guys with me in the commentary box. They're incredibly silent, you haven't heard them, but they're in tier 1, and I'll occasionally ask them a question or 2 just to keep informed on what's happening on the other side. Bobby, Force, if you guys can hear me, how's it going so far?
Howdy Jono, we just finished Q1.
And how many runners do you guys have on that side?
Yeah, 14.
14. And any interesting weather?
Nope. Normal dry weather.
Normal dry weather. I don't have information about this side's weather, unfortunately, but I did see some ominous clouds in Q1. So,
I can tell you one interesting thing is DW and Muna will be starting at the back as they crashed.
They crashed in Q1. So they'll be starting from the back, 14 runners. They'll be starting from 13th and 14th on the grid. We're going to have 2 incredibly fast drivers coming from the back of the field. So looks like Johan's got exciting prospect ahead of him. That was RZDV 2000. He's over in tier 1. Also available on our YouTube channel. Both should be broadcast simultaneously. Well, back to Tier 2. We're in Q2. Call it 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Tux is still on, well, Tux took pole. I didn't notice that. I was talking to RZDB. To 135.8, followed by Ronald, 136.0. Just 0.2 of a second there. Then we've got Wolf on a 136.2. And then Blixen P and Staffy in 4th and 5th. They've retired from the session. Obviously happy with those lap times. But we've got an interesting mix here in the top 5 when it comes to tyre choice. We've got ultras, hypers, ultras, hypers, ultras. So some differing strategies there at the beginning of the race. Got the judge out on circuit. His best lap at the moment is a 139.1, just set on a set of hypersofts. With another man that's out on circuit, currently in 6th place, 138.6. So hasn't done that many laps. So giving it another go at the end of the session. And then the last man on circuit of the 3 is Cowboy 33, but he's going very slowly, so it's either on an out lap or an in lap. Just having a look at over on Tier 1, I can tell you that Q1 lap time was a 135.3, and over here we've got a 135.8, so rather closer than expected. Tier 2 does have some incredibly fast drivers. We joined Judge at not a very good time. Just seems to have spun right on the pit entry, but manages to collect it and comes into the pits. Had enough of this session. 139.1, 40 seconds remaining. No time to improve on that. Just the 8 men have set lap times. Cowboy 33, still no lap time from him. And obviously Thomas retired at the beginning of the session. I see also not a lot of confidence from TnB over in Tier 1, saying that a retirement is incoming. So doesn't seem very positive, does it? Just waiting now for the time to run down. We've reached the end of Q2. The only man out on track still is Pitt in 6th place. I was going to say, can he improve, but he spun it. And that should be your classification for Q2. Obviously, Tux in 1st place with that great lap time. And there we go. That's the end of Q2. My times have been taken away from me. Waiting for that leaderboard to come up so we can just read the final results of Q2. There we go. 1st place goes to Tux. He set a 135.8. Then Ronald 2nd, Wolf in 3rd, Blixenpie 4th, Staffy in 5th, Pitt in 6th, Judge 7th, I'll get the name right sometime. Estronic 8th, Cowboy 9th, and then Thomas never set a lap, 10th place. Not really sure what is going to happen going into Q3. Are we going to lose a driver? Are we not? There's only 10 drivers. Theoretically, all of them should go through, but we shall soon see. Let's just wait for this loading screen to change, shall we? Here we are, start of Q3. Shortest of the sessions, just 12 minutes. Guys really need to get out there quick and set their lap times. If anything goes wrong, you can have another go at it. Don't want to spend too much time in the pits. First man out on track. It's a Ferrari. It's a Ferrari of pit. Actually, it's allowing all the other cars to go ahead of him, and it's making him stop in the pits. So whereas he was the first man out on track, he's now got 2 or 3 cars ahead of him. It's obviously just at the start of the session. Couple of guys are out on their out laps. Then they will probably set an installation lap, and then hopefully come back towards the end of the session to just find that little extra. Five cars out on their out laps. 4 cars remain in the pits. Wolf, Judge, Blix and P and Cowboy are not yet making laps. Cowboy's just gone out as I've said that. So 7 of your 9 drivers. Just 9 drivers here in Q3, so we did lose the 1. And now you've got 7 of the 9 drivers out on track. Interestingly enough, Ronald, it seems. Oh, he is going over the lap. Let's have a look. Let's switch on some of this timing. Give us a better idea. Ronald now goes over the line to start his fast lap. Watch Staffy in the Alpha. Quite a flurry of cars that left the pit lane at more or less the same time. So I'm not entirely sure who was the first man out on track, so I'm not sure who's going to go purple first. We'll stay with Staffy for the time being. He heads down the straight. Well, it's sort of a straight. It's got a curve in the middle of it. And then it's followed by quite a twisty section of track. Right on board with him. Tricky part of the circuit this. Got to get the braking just right in order to hit the apex on the inside. And then this final corner can also be tricky. Seen some good drivers bottle it right there. Lap times now coming in. Staffy goes fastest with a 136.8. Incredibly close behind his pits. He's got a 139 points. That's not incredibly close. I read that wrong. Ronald goes with a 136.4. So he takes that time away from Staffy by 4/10 of a second. But just the 4 lap times up on the board. And I think they were out laps because it looked pretty slow. But at the moment, this is between Ronald and Staffy for the time being. 136.4 versus a 136.8. Pitt currently in third, he's on a 139.0. Esotronic in fourth, so now fifth, a 140.8. Cowboy goes third with a 137.1. And Blixenby fourth with a 137.2, so nothing in it. But an interesting thing I just noticed is Blixenby did that lap time which got him fourth place on a set of ultras. So this is just not wanting to show all of his pace right now. The Wolf goes fastest briefly with a 136.2 and he's immediately beaten by the Renault driver Tix. He does a 135.0. Nicely done. Provisional pole so far. See who else is out on track. Who hasn't set a lap time yet. A judge out on circuit on what appears to be an outlap. That is a good lap time, a 135.0 for Tips at the moment. That's on his first run. Still 5 minutes in the session, so he's got enough time to go into the pits and get a fresh set. And if he wants to improve on that, 135.0 would be pretty easy to get into the 134s. It's not way off. Just getting a message here on YouTube. It's pronounced Easytronic. That is a lot easier. And then obviously a comment from my good friend Renning Gaming saying Jono. Well, he's always a fun character. Not sure if he made qualifying over in T1, but I know he'll be in the race. Not a lot of action out on circuit right now, just 4.5 minutes remaining in the session. So most of your drivers are in the pits. Got picked out on an outlap. I just hope when he comes around for his fast lap, he doesn't get a whole lot of traffic with cars coming out of the pits. Just 4 minutes remaining on the clock. It is possible that he's going to encounter traffic on his fast lap. Just hope he got the timing right. Another man going over the line is Blixenby. He improves from 6th, he goes 5th with a 157.0. Still on that set of ultras. But I don't think he's throwing everything at this qualifying session. Right now, fastest lap remains that 135.0. And the Renault remains in the pits. So let's see if he does come out and try and improve that. We'll keep an eye on that. Wolf is now coming out of the pits. He's currently 2nd. So he's going to be looking to improve on his time. Needs to find 0.2 of a second. Actually no, 1.2. So that is a brilliant lap time by the Renault driver. He's 1.2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. That may change now as guys go out for their final run. 6 drivers out on circuit. So in about a minute and a half, that timing screen could look very different. Ronald currently in third. He's on what appears to be a quick lap, looking to improve on that 136.4. Driving on board with pit now, currently 7th. He's on a set of ultras, going around the final bend. He's going to start a fast lap, going to try and improve from that 7th position. Let's have a look at Judge, currently in 8th. Wolf now starting his first lap, goes into turn 1. He's got to find 1.2 seconds. He's out on a fresh set of hypers. Will anybody catch this? Got 50 seconds remaining in the session, and everyone is out on track, with the exception of Easytronic. There we go. Eight seconds remaining on the clock. And that is officially the checkered flag at the end of Q3. So if you pass the checkered flag, you can complete your lap. And let's see if there will be any drama at the end of qualifying. Wolf now goes into the final corner, onto the main straight. Can he improve? Does improve, but it's not enough. Big improvement, improved by 9/10 of a second, but it's a 135.3, and well, success just improved. He's done a 134.8, but very nicely done. I didn't think we'd see an improvement on that 135.0, but there it is, 134.8. Let's have a look at Ronald. He's still out on the circuit, currently in 3rd place. But he's slowed down a lot, so I think that's him for the session. Obviously Staffy and TnB have left the session, so Cowboy in 6th, currently a 137.1. Will he improve on his time? Can improve. Just needs to find a 10th of a second and he can go from 6th to 5th. 3/10 of a second, he'll find himself in 4th. Let's see if he can find any time. And oh well, there was a stationary Ferrari on the pit straight, and Cowboy drove right into it. So there was drama at the end of qualifying, just not the kind of drama I expected. So there we have it, the results from Q3, and this will be your starting order for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Six will start from pole with that 134.8. Then we've got Wolf in 2nd place, Ronald 3rd, Staffy 4th, TnB in 5th, Cowboy in 6th. Got the Judge in 7th, Pitt in 8th, and then Esotronic He's in 9th place. Obviously now we're going into a 100% distance race at the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit. 55 laps ahead of us. Total of 305 kilometers. On a track that's challenging. Let's call it that. Always at a street circuit, there's always the risk or the threat of a safety car. Could be interesting if a safety car came into the race, how it would affect the result. Always can stir up any result. Still waiting now on the screen, obviously, just for everybody to finish connecting. And just a reminder that there is a formation lap. If everyone gets away quite sluggish, that's what they should be doing. Well, there we go. We've got some visual. Green lights. Formation lap will begin. This will give us another opportunity to go through the field. It's just right. Well, seems like Tux has been disqualified immediately because he's sitting on his grid slot in first place. Seems like he didn't get away. Well, second place is going to be Wolf. He's starting in that Toro Rosso Honda. Ronald, the championship leader, is going to be starting in third place with the brightly coloured Force India. Staffy in the Alpha. He's going to be starting from fourth. Luxembourg in the Red Bull, fifth place. Cowboy, his teammate, in the second of the Red Bulls, he'll be starting in sixth. Maybe an interesting teammate battle there on the horizon. Judge is in seventh for Williams. Fifth in what is the lone Ferrari, he's in eighth. We've got the second of the Toro Rossos, Esotronic, he's in ninth. Thomas in what I believe is the only Haas driver on the night. He's going to be starting from 10th. Springbok Gamer is going to be starting from 11th in the Mercedes. Death Seeker, the second Renault, he's going to be starting second last. And then obviously we have Heno. He will be starting from 13th. It says disqualified next to his name. Not quite sure why that is. But now we've got Wolf coming around the final corner. And your grid will begin to set. Will be underway shortly. It's a bit frustrating when you're in the front and you're waiting for everybody to line up. It can feel like it's forever. Here we go. Waiting for the red lights. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wait for it. It's go. They're away. The Alpha pulls out nicely. Staffy in second. Tux still leads into turn 1. Got a Red Bull on the outside. I think that's Cowboy. It's Blixenp, he was on the outside, so the order so far is Renault, Red Bull, Alpha, that's Tux, Blixenp and Staffy. Let's go down the order. Cowboy in the Red Bull, he's in fourth, Esotronic in fifth, he's doing a great job, started in 10th, so he's already made up 5 positions. As I say that, he's passed by his teammate on. Judge still in 7th place. Being followed closely by Springbok Gamer. Heno in 9th. Ronald, I've missed that completely, but he's in 11th place. Not sure what happened. Started in 3rd. but it's got 55 laps to rebuild. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage, nothing from what I can see on my footage. And then pits in 12th place in the Ferrari. But a very, very long way to go. If you make a mistake on turn 1, don't let it get you too down. A lot can happen in Abu Dhabi. And will you look at that, we've got a retirement. Luxembourg and Turks out of the race. Both of them, well, look at that. Luxembourg has lost his wheel against the Armco, just running wide straight into the wall. And how things have changed. Ronald is now in the lead. He leads Staffy. All my timing screens are going crazy. I'm not quite sure, but my timing screens are going crazy. Ronald is now back in 8th. Thanks for that. Staffy now leads the race. Let's have a look at the gaps if we can. For some reason not getting any of the gaps data on my screen. Not sure why that is. Staffy leads from Wolf. Cowboy in 3rd. Estetronic 4th place. Springbok Gamer 5th. The Judge in 6th. Heno 7th. Ronald still in 8th. Death Seeker 9th. And Pit 10th. 11th, 12th and 13th have retired. So if you finish the next 53 laps, you will get a point. Try it with your leader, number 41, the Alpha of Staffy. Still leads this race. Got a comfortable little gap. Not a big gap, but a comfortable gap. Doesn't have the Toro Rosso breathing down his neck. And honestly, I don't know what my timing screen is doing. I apologize, but I don't know if Ronald is in the lead or if Staffy is in the lead. He keeps on jumping down to 8th place. It seems I've been incorrect. There we go, it jumped back down to 8th. So you can see it on screen. It's not me that's going crazy. I honestly don't know who the leader of this race is. As you can see, the screen is showing Ronald in 8th, and it shows that he's 5 seconds behind Heno, and that Staffy leads the race. So I'm not quite sure why it keeps on switching. At the beginning of a lap, Ronald goes into 1st and then goes back down to 8th. It's very confusing. But if these timings are correct, it's just around that 4-second mark away from 7th place. I don't want to close that down and work his way up the order. You know, he's a quick driver. He's shown it this season so far. And we have another retirement. Pit in the Sol Ferrari has retired. So just 9 runners left in a race that has a long way to go. As you see at the beginning of the lap, Ronald is number 1 again, so honestly I'm not sure. Let's join Wolf in 3rd place in the Toro Rosso Honda on lap 4. Gap has opened up to Staffy, 4.5 seconds now. Seems like I'm not sure what's going on. I obviously have a problem with my connection to Ronald because he's crawling up the track, doing no more than 20 k's an hour, and he's still got that 6.7 gap down to Staffy. So I'm not quite sure what is wrong over there, but I cannot see him correctly on my screen. Now again showing Ronald in 9th place. So I do apologize for my commentary, but and he goes back to 1st. So I don't know how to read this and tell you who the leader is, because I'm not sure. According to the timing screens now, Ronald leads the race by 6.2 seconds. So I suppose all will be revealed as the race continues. Wolf is currently in 3rd, 4.7 seconds behind Staffy. So Staffy is in a comfortable spot now. He's got a gap behind him, and unfortunately a gap in front of him, I think. But in a very strong position. Let's just have a look at the tires. Who's using what? Like I say again, if this is correct, Ronald leads the race. He's on a set of Hypersofts. And then we've got 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all on Ultrasofts. And Springbok Gamer in 5th on a set of Supers. So he's definitely got different ideas for his strategy going into this race. We want to keep our eyes on Springbok Gamer. Interesting strategy to start on the Super Softs. Obviously wants to go very deep into the race. And again, just the timing screen being very annoying. Just the timing screen. Just a little bit about Abu Dhabi. It was actually announced as an F1 circuit in 2007. Only got its first race in 2009. So similar to the Vietnam track that is coming up, got announced 2 years before it got on the calendar. And then obviously your most wins here is 3 for Lewis Hamilton, all for Mercedes, and 3 for Sebastian Vettel, all in Red Bulls. So Sebastian Vettel still yet to stand on the top step at Abu Dhabi in a Ferrari. And then your most wins for a constructor here at Abu Dhabi would be Mercedes-Benz with 4 victories. Obviously the 3 for Hamilton that I mentioned earlier, and 1 for Nico Rosberg. Nice helicopter shot now of the Red Bull Cowboy 33 going around in 4th place. Really nice shot. Gives you a good view of the circuit. Back on board with him. Doing a good job so far, holding it all together. And like I said, just the 9 runners, all you have to do is finish, you'll be in the points. Ronald now leads the race by 3.4 seconds to Staffy. Gonna have to watch the next 2 or 3 laps very closely. Ronald obviously on those hypersofts. It's going to be interesting to see if they start dropping off. They will drop off eventually. It will be when will they drop off. The information I got on my side is that they should last to lap 11. But he has been pushing. It's lap 7 and look at that. Now Staffy comes up behind him on the straight. The gap is a visual one. It's taken more out of him. It was 0.8 of a second. Now it's 0.6 of a second. Nothing in it. Staffy has taken the lead. Nicely done. He's pulling away at quite a rate of knots. He's just performed the pass and he's already 1.5 seconds up the road. So I'm not sure if Ronald is having some sort of issue. But and there my timing screen changes again. Ronald now having a north goes into the tyre wall. Seems to have got away with it. Don't see any damage on the car. I do apologize to anyone that's watching, but suffering from a very unreliable timing screen. If this is correct, Ronald now in third. 11 seconds behind Wolf, who's in second. So, actually extremely confusing to try and make sense of this. Join a battle as 2 cars go side by side down the straight. It's a Merc versus a Red Bull. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Red Bull is on the inside. On the inside, takes the tighter line. Springbok Gamer tried to turn in on the inside to the next corner, but that was blocked. And Cowboy maintains 4th for now. He's on a set of Ultras. But Springbok Gamer on that set of Super Softs, maybe those tyres just coming into their own now on lap 8. And starting to show. Springbok Gamer now getting past Ronald. I honestly don't know where Ronald is on this circuit. I've seen him in so many different positions, and he's showing right now that he's in the lead. So nothing I can do from my side. Can just try and commentate on what I see in front of me. And now Wolf is in the lead. And all these lead changes, and I haven't actually seen any passes for the lead. Now Wolf and Staff, they're on the straight. Visual gap to keep our eyes on. Cowboy in 3rd place. And what appears to be a battle coming up very shortly. Currently in 3rd. Looking at those Ultras, they don't look too good. And Springbok Gamer coming up really close, just 0.7 of a second. And maybe he had the perfect strategy. The only man to start on Supers. Nobody else thought of going for the hardest compound available. And maybe it will work in his favor. Judge still holding it all together in 6th place. For the Williams. He may not be the fastest driver I know, but he's definitely one of the most consistent drivers I know. I've seen Judge finish endurance races that are ridiculously way too long. Races that I wouldn't even consider entering. But the only remaining Reynolds, so obviously Tix retired quite early on in the race, didn't complete a lap. The remaining Reynolds is in 7th place, it's Deathseeker. Also just needs to hold everything together. A lot can happen in this race. And a lot can still happen with tyres, pit stops. Just 5.3 seconds down the road from Ronald in 6th place. And again, I think. Springbok Gamer and Cowboy, that battle continues. Just 0.3 of a second between the two cars. Now into a very tight part of the track. Who's going to get the better acceleration? Springbok Gamer really close. He just needs to keep this close, and the moment there is any sort of mistake, he can pounce. Just must not make a mistake I regularly make when I'm passing closely behind and a guy runs wide and I simply follow him. Best battle in the race at the moment, and Springbok Gamer has gotten past. Just the Red Bull running wide there. He was close enough to take advantage, and he did. He jumped at it, and he's taken 4th place. Now let's see if Cowboy and the Red Bull can keep up and fight for his podium position back, or if Springbok Gamer will start closing the gap down to Staffy. It is a big gap between 3rd and 2nd. 19 seconds. That Red Bull hasn't let go of him just yet. Just half a second in it. He'll be feeling a bit of pressure on his side. He'll know he makes a mistake. Look at that. The Red Bull goes for the inside. There is a little bit of contact. Springbok Gamer gets the line into the next corner and retakes 3rd position. But this battle is not showing any signs of ending just yet. Don't want to see a collision. We don't want to see this battle end because of damage, and as I say that, end plate missing on the right hand side, and surely that's gonna make things a little bit more difficult keeping up to the Mercedes-Benz in front of him. You can already see that gap now, 1.5 seconds. The Springbok Gamer just getting away. Gap between Wolf and Staffy is 2.5 seconds. Lap 12 of 55. Meant to have made pit stops so far. Deathseeker and Henno, from what I can see, and Easytronic. He's also made a pit stop. And Pitt also made a pit stop very early on in the race, and then retired shortly thereafter. anybody is able to tell me, either over YouTube or on the WhatsApp group, who is leading Tier 2 on your side, it would be greatly appreciated. Dead Seeker now 5 seconds stop go penalty, exceeding track limits. It's a tricky circuit for track limits. It's like France in certain aspects. It's got a lot of open area where you can run wide, but sometimes running wide is what gives you that advantage. Very easy to get a penalty. Dhabi's Ultra's not looking fantastic from the view I've got. Springbok Gamer still going strong on that set of supers. There we go. I stayed on board with Ronald just to see if I could see what was happening, and he's jumped from 8th to 1st again. It's obviously very unfortunate when things like this do happen, but I can't give you accurate commentary if I don't know who is where. Everybody else seems to be staying in the same order, but for some reason that pink Force India just is complicating things. It's either 1st or 8th. But if this is correct, he leads the race by 18 seconds. Let's ride on board with him and have a look at his tyres. Has not made a pit stop, so he's taken those ultra softs beyond what I believed. I was talking about lap 11. He's on lap 14. Just starting to see a line forming down the middle of the tires. Usually means there's some grading on the side. And if that gap is not coming down to 2nd, well then I suppose he can stay out there. So when that gap starts to fall, but he should consider coming in for a pit stop. And again, we're following him, we're riding on board with him, and you see he just slows down to 79 kilometers an hour. So I really don't know what is going on. Leader is either Ronald or Wolf. Okay, I noticed what happened now. Ronald was going through sector 1 and suddenly slowed down to 79 kilometers an hour, and I couldn't understand why. But for some reason I was seeing him on the track when he was actually in the pits, because I saw him slow down on the track and now it says he's done a stop. So unfortunately I'm just not seeing Ronald correctly on my screen, but it is working for everybody else as far as I know. Wolf leads the race as he hasn't made a pit stop yet. You can probably go a little bit deeper into this race. He's on ultras. Also showing a bit of graining on the side. Tires don't look too great. That'd be 3rd. Also ultra softs. And then Springbok Gamer, your only runner on supers, currently in 4th. And for some reason, only on Springbok Gamer's car does it sound like he's stuck in gear. So unfortunately, can't ride on board with him too much. Extremely annoying sound coming from that Merc. If it's Dr. Wolf would like my comments, but I doubt he's listening, so I don't really care. Staffy now coming into the pits. When you drive for Saldo, it's quite an annoying long drive to the end of the pit lane. Just changing his wing. Off comes a set of Hypersofts. He's going for a second set of Hypers. That's what I see on my screen. So it's going from Hypers to Hypers and then probably finishing the race off on a set of Ultras. Does that mean Springbok Gamer is on a run stop? I should try and speak to some of the drivers before the broadcast. I really think it would help. So all of the strategies I'm saying may be incorrect. I'm just guessing from the information I have in front of me. But if he could pull off the one stop, that would be impressive. I haven't spoken about the judge too much in this race, but he's in 4th place at the moment. Not made a pit stop as of yet. Got a gap down to 5th. Staffy 23 seconds behind. Not quite sure how long a pit stop takes here in Abu Dhabi. It's got that incredibly long pit exit. And again, my timing screen playing tricks on me. There we go. Seems like Staffy's gonna go past Judge. Reclaim 4th place. Just had a problem with my screens there. Very close battle. Judge defends for the time being. Hasn't made a pit stop as of yet, so those Hypersofts must be quite slippery. Like driving on ice. Staffy now up the straight. He's gonna get the better acceleration. He's on a set of fresh Hypers, sorry. Probably be able to brake later. Braver into the corner. He's up the inside and oh. What happened there? Just ran wide. Missed his braking point. Managed to keep the position. It's allowed Judge just to come back at him a little bit. Don't know if he will go back at him. Tires are pretty worn. Don't think you should make a fight of it if you don't think you can stay ahead for very long. Staffy would have lost some time there behind Judge. Gonna have a look and see if anybody has answered me with the Ronald question, and nothing. So I will have to continue to guess, and anyone who's watching this or watching this later is gonna have to put up with me. not knowing what's going on, which is usually the case. There's only two men out on circuit that are yet to make a pit stop, and that's Judge, currently in 5th place, and Springbok Gamer, who's on that set of supers. But Judge still out there on lap 19 with a set of hypersofts. Obviously, I'm not sure what his strategy is. He's just trying to take those hypers as long as he can into the race. If you can make a hyper last 20 laps, goes hyper super. Dhabi has just set the fastest lap of the race. Nicely done. The 141.1. The only other driver to have seen the 141s in this race was Ronald. He said a 141.5. We still have 9 runners, make that 8 runners. We had quite a flurry of retirements at the beginning of the race, but it seems to have balanced out for now. Just 8 runners. And your top 5, as my screen reads, is Ronald, Wolf, Springbok Gamer, Staffy, and the Judge. Don't know how busy our drivers are in Tier 1, but if they get a moment, how's it going over on that side? And the two TnB, Wazzy and TnB De Vet, how did they do starting from the back of the grid, and have they moved their way up? Interesting to just try and keep track of both.
Nodes on it.
So RZDV again joining us. How's it going so far?
I started P5. I'm now down in 11th.
Down in 11th. How many runners? Still 14, or have you had retirements?
13 Wazzy and Cameron retired.
Wazzy and Cam. No idea what happened to Cam? Was it another wall incident? Sure, we'll find out from him later.
I didn't. He was behind me when it happened, so
I'll let you get back to it. I can hear your wheel going a bit crazy there.
I'll go now, just take around the corner.
Not a problem. Back to the Tier 2 race. There's some technical difficulties with the timing screen, but beyond that, we've had a good race on our hands. Not a lot of battles on the circuit right now to speak of. Just in this middle part of the race. And Judge, incredibly, has still not come into the pits. Gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Just ran wide there, went over the curb, exceeded track limits. And he's picked up what, if I'm not mistaken, is his second 3-second time penalty. So hopefully that won't affect his result at the end of the race. So there was a brief battle there on screen between Cowboy and Ronald, and I didn't say a word because I didn't want to commentate on that, because as you can see it's flipped again. Choosing not to activate DRS when it's available. So obviously I'm just seeing something wrong. 3-second time penalty again, multiple warnings, this time for Wolf. So everybody just having a difficult time with track limits. And we'll have to see how those penalties affect the final result. They can stack up quite quickly. Fastest lap by Staffy again, a 1:41.0, taking a tenth of a second off his previous best. So finding some serious pace on lap 22 of 55. I'm just going to let you enjoy some visuals of the Abu Dhabi track, so you don't have to listen to my annoying voice the whole time. And I'll be back in a minute. Rejoin the action at the start of lap 24, and the battle starts to form between Staffy and Springbok Gamer for third place, just 0.3 of a second in it. The Alpha following the Merc around the circuit closely. So Springbok Gamer has not made a pit stop, he's on those super softs. They've done 24 laps. Staffy on a fresh set of Hypers, got them just a couple of laps ago. He's still going to have that superior pace, and he wants to make the most of it while he still can. They can drop off pretty quickly. Cowboy in the Red Bull, currently in 5th. I believe his name is Mark, if I'm not mistaken. He's doing a good job holding it all together. Great opportunity for points today. Anyone who finishes is going to pick up some points. Just got to hold it all together and get to the end of the race. Now we start lap 25, so 30 laps remaining, not yet at half distance. Well, I have to decide on something. I can't continue commentating like this. I think I'm just seeing the force indicator incorrectly, but I think he's in the lead. Don't know why he's jumping up and down my timesheet, but I'm just going to go with he's in the lead for the rest of the race, because it appears that way. At the moment it's an 18.2 second gap down to second, and a further 27 seconds down to Staff. He's gotten away from the Merc of Springbok Gamer. Springbok Gamer now 7.9 seconds behind. Either made a mistake or is now starting to feel the super softs dropping off. Have a look at the judge. Just going awfully long on those hyper softs. He has since made a pit stop, and he's on a set of supers. Could be trying the one stop, possibly on the same strategy as Springbok Gamer, just in reverse order. Just go up and down through the cars, see if there's any battles on track. It doesn't appear so. Started lap 26, Ronald still leads from Wolf and Staffy. That's your top three. Springbok Gamer. I've joined Springbok Gamer at the worst possible time. Just curse. Unfortunately, when we tuned into Springbok Gamer, he was sideways. Just gonna watch him. I just want to see if there's any visible damage. Nothing that I can see, but that has compromised his position a little bit. He's in 4th place, but now 17 seconds behind Staffy. Death Seeker picks up a 5-second time penalty. Go around now with the 8th place man, Esotronic, in the Toro Rosso Honda. Just driving his own race for now, waiting to see what happens. Just needs to worry about keeping it on the road, and whatever happens in front of him, let it happen. See there on the bottom of our screens that Death Seeker has left the session. So his car will continue to go around the circuit. Not sure if it will ghost or not. It does not appear to be. I thought it would. But there we go, it is. On the one camera it doesn't look like it, but when you ride on board, clearly he is ghosting. Can be quite difficult when the cars that disconnect, when they don't ghost, can be incredibly difficult to get past them, and sometimes it can even ruin a race. Betsika has joined the session, so he'll retake control of that Renault. The remaining Renault in this race. His teammate was very promising at the beginning of the race. Showed a lot of pace in qualifying, but had an unfortunate and early end to his experience here in Abu Dhabi. Betsika and Esotronic both have made 2 pit stops. Judge, Staffy, Wolf and Ronald all on the 1 stop. And then the only man on circuit not to have stopped is Springbok Gamer. Not sure how long he can take these tyres, but if you judge, well, the judge was able to take the tyres for 20 laps, so if Springbok Gamer is able to do the same, then you should probably try and take these super softs up to lap 35. Still a long way away, 7 laps away, make that 6. His tyres will begin to drop off, his lap times will probably begin to drop off. And it's a crucial part of your strategy, is holding it together when your tyres begin to degrade. You see Yas Marina for Abu Dhabi, one of the night races on the calendar, something that was introduced with the Singapore Grand Prix and gained quite a lot of momentum and popularity, and has since come to Abu Dhabi as well as Bahrain. And there are a few interesting tracks on the calendar that may become night races. And Russia is one of them. Springbok Gamer's car still sounds like it's in 3rd gear. Unfortunately, we can't follow him for too long. Let's go down to Cowboy 33ZA, currently in 5th place, just the 1 stop. It's on a set of super softs. We ride with Death Seeker in 6th place. As I say that, the judge has picked up another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So it seems to be having trouble with the track limits. Now back with Death Seeker 6th place, had a bit of bad luck. Left the session earlier. He's rejoined, taken control of the car again. He's 27 seconds behind the Red Bull in front of him. 25 laps remaining. Lap 30 or 55. Keep on crossing over to Springbok Gamer. Really keen to see when will he make that first pit stop. How long can he take these tyres? And are the lap times beginning to drop off? He could be looking at a possible podium. Great to see an Alpha on a potential podium in 3rd place. Staffy doing a good job. Number 41. Really good looking car in broadcast cam, but I must say a little bit boring from the cockpit. But from broadcast cam, it's really one of the best looking cars on the grid. Let's just have a recap on the retirements, the DNFs. So far we've had 5 retirements from the 13 starters. Just got 8 runners left on circuit. 5 retirements. With Thomas, Blixenp, Tix, Pitt and Heno all not able to make full distance here at Abu Dhabi. And unfortunately 3 of those drivers were on lap 1. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of excitement out on track. Got the gaps up on screen, and as you can see, some pretty big gaps between the drivers, ranging from 10 seconds to 25 seconds. So no battles as of yet. Let's see if there's a second round of pit stops. That could possibly shake things up. Judge has come into the pits and he's picked up a 5-second stop-go penalty, speeding in the pit lane. changes his front wing, and he's on his way. That was his second stop. Don't think that was a planned stop. Changed the front wing, obviously had to come in and just couldn't deal with that wing. Abu Dhabi is not really the track you want to drive around with a damaged wing. It's difficult as is. Currently the fastest lap in the race, set by Ronald. It's a 140.2. And the closest lap to that is Staffy with a 141.0. It's incredibly fast lap time there. 8/10 of a second faster than anyone. And now Ronald is set to 140.1. Like I say, second time penalty, multiple warnings, again, track limits. It's time for a Citronica. Gonna be a lot of penalties handed out in this race. Springbok Gamer has made his pit stop. He's come out on a set of ultras. So this is clearly a one pit stop strategy. Different strategy to everybody else. I do think that Judge was on the same strategy, just in reverse, but damaged the wing somewhere and it compromised his strategy because he's made a second stop. Having a look at the biggest winners of the start, goes to Springbok Gamer and Dead Seeker, as they both picked up 6 positions. And then your biggest loser would obviously be Tips, who retired on lap 1 after starting in pole. So showed a lot of promise, but unfortunately became a victim of lap 1. I'm sure everybody has experienced at some stage, some more than others. We ride now with Ronald. Looks like he's coming up to some traffic. Who's this in front of him? It seems to be a Williams. Staffy now sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:39.6. So as the guys are now burning the fuel, cars are getting lighter. They're just finding that extra time. Staffy also out on a set of ultras. Gonna have to wait and see who needs to stop again and who can make it to the end. Ronald has stopped twice, as well as Staffy. Wolf just with the one stop. And unfortunately, Death Thief has visited the Renault pits 3 times. Wolf has now also pitted for the 2nd time, so all your top 3 were all on 2 pit stop strategies. Wolf getting a good exit out of the pit lane there, getting lucky actually. Came out just ahead of a lapped car, so that could have held him up. Springbok Gamer, Cowboy 33, positions 4 and 5. They're still going at it. These two seem to meet each other on circuit all the time. There's just half a second in it. Merck is all over the back of the Red Bull. And it looks like it's just a matter of time now on the straight. Merck gets the DRS, opens the DRS, uses a bit of slipstream, moves to the outside, and not just yet. Red Bull goes to the inside, holds its line, and just closes off Springbok Gamer into the next corner. Good defending, but that Merck looks mightily fast. and it looks like just a matter of time. Gonna stay with them. Definitely the only battle on track right now. Gap has grown now to 1.5 seconds. Doesn't look like Springbok Gamer has any damage. There we go, they're together again. Go into the final corner, now on the pit straight. Springbok Gamer will get DRS. Moves to the side. And the inside blocked again. Some great defensive driving by the Red Bull driver. Red Bull on a set of super softs, 23 laps old. Springbok Gamer on a set of ultra softs, just 6 laps old. And now he's gone to the outside, he's out. Very good on the brakes, so late on the brakes. He's gotten past the Red Bull. Red Bull is now weaving behind the Merc. He hasn't given up on this just yet. And now it's Springbok Gamer that's doing the good defensive driving, and it seems like he's gotten away from him just a little bit. And now he can just try and get the full potential out of those ultra softs. Looking at the gaps on the racetrack, seems like if everybody holds it together, this could be your finishing results. So if we do see any changes from now to the end, it's probably gonna involve a lot of late drama. Look at that, Wolf sets the fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:38.5. Toro Rosso Honda setting fastest laps. Didn't think I'd commentate on that. That gap now between Springbok Gamer, Cowboy 33, it's now 4.5 seconds. So the Red Bull has dropped off completely. Springbok Gamer just utilizing that fresher and faster compound. Toro Rosso Honda currently in second place. Wolf doing a good job. Hasn't, from what I've seen, hasn't had to deal with too much action on track. He's had a bit of a lonely race, but maintained his position and been consistent from the beginning. I think in a 100% race, this is when you start to feel it. I know when I've done the 100% races that usually with 10 laps remaining, I'm pretty happy for the race to end immediately. Those last 10 laps can feel extremely long. Still got 13 laps, 42 or 55. And your top three, still Reed, Ronald, the Wolf, and Staffy. Springbok Gamer still holding on to 4th place. And it seems like he's got that 4th place safe. 9 seconds now down to the Red Bull. Death Seeker in 6th place. Can't really make advantage of Cowboy 33's dropping lap times because he's a minute behind. It's a huge gap between 5th and 6th. It's right along with the Williams of the judge. Still in 7th. Like I mentioned earlier, very consistent driver. Can basically keep the same lap times throughout the race. And he can just hold it together. And often gets good results because people make mistakes around him. And I'm sure he'd be happy with the 7th place. Gets a couple of points up. Citronic, currently in 8th. It's also up for some points. Just needs to finish the race. He's done a great job so far. Ronald leads the race by 25 seconds from Wolf, followed by Staffy, who's a further 48 seconds behind. A large gap between the top three. Time penalties continuing to pile up. Another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Springbok Goma doing a great job to catch that. Back end really jumping out. He just pulled that back. Nicely done. Now for some reason Wolf and Ronald are switching on my screen. And now they've switched back. Fastest lap of the race so far, still that 1:38.5. Don't know if anyone will take it in the final stages of the race, as the drivers begin to experience worn tyres. Unless somebody comes in at the end and has a go and hype us, just for the fun of it. Got now 8 laps remaining. Springbok Gamer in 4th place, 7.9 seconds behind Staffy. Don't know if he could find a second a lap, but the podium is within touching distance. And look how much time he's made up since he's passed that Red Bull. Battled to pass the Red Bull for 2 or 3 laps and got past, and now he's 24 seconds up the road. So if he had gotten past that Red Bull a little earlier, it would be interesting to see where he'd be now. Staffy has now come in for a 3rd stop, and he's put on a set of hypers, so we might see that fastest lap change. Podium was close, but now just beginning to slip away, up to almost 9.5 seconds. So now Staffy with those hypersofts will surely increase that gap. Another man that's gone into the pits and put on a set of hypers is Chronic in 8th place. He has a set of hypers on the car. Springbok gained just the one stop in this race, as well as Cowboy 33, just the one stop. Thinks that he can still take the fastest lap in the race. Might not win it, but he could take the fastest lap. Then a fresh set of hypers. Car should be very light on fuel at this stage of the race. Best lap time of the race so far, 1:38.5. And Staffy's personal best is a 1:39.0. So he'd have to find half a second. That could explain a lot. I see now that Ronald is driving with an X over his name. The first time I've seen it. That could be why the car is reacting very strangely. And it messed up my timing sheet. Lap 50 now, or 55. 5 laps remaining. Right in the closing stages. No one wants to make a mistake at this stage. Not sure what happened there. It's Ronald and was that a Merc? Had a slight collision. Second time penalty for multiple warnings, Cowboy 33. Penalties have been racking up amongst the different drivers. And when the results come up at the end, we'll see what effect they've had. It's got a 5-second stop go penalty. It's not slowing down in time. Comes in, they can't touch the car for 5 seconds. It's on another set of hypers, changes the front wing. And now he's got a very long, annoying pit exit ahead of him. Oof. Runs wide on the pit exit. Had over a minute gap, so there's no harm in the pit stop and having a short shootout on the hyper softs. Just 2 laps remaining in this race. Springbok Gamer seems like he has pulled off this one stop. He's got to do another 2 laps. Tyres starting to show signs of graining, but doesn't look too bad. Lap 55, odd 55. Just waiting to see what will happen with my screen. But as I see it, Ronald leading the race into the final corner. I think he's about to take victory. The fireworks go off, and well, you saw that for yourself. I'm not sure what happened there, but we'll have to wait for the final standings. Springbok Gamer comes over the line in fourth. Great performance. Only man to pull off a one stop. Started off on the supers. Made it work. Got 3 classified finishes on my screen. Hope I don't have this problem again. It made commentary quite difficult. Judge goes over the line, he finishes in 7th and picks up a 5-second penalty for not serving his penalty. Red Bull now over the line, Cowboy finishes in 5th place. Just waiting now for Death Seeker, as I say that, crosses the line, and the last man to go over the line was Citronica in 8th place. And now we'll wait for the results screen. And there we have it. It was Ronald. Just had a lot of issues on my side. We apologise for that. It's a fantastic race nonetheless. Guys really held it together. Bit of action on lap 1. Lost some of the quick drivers straight at the beginning. But great performance by the top 3 there. Well, there you have it. Let's just go through the results. Obviously Ronald winning that race. He won from the Wolf in 2nd. Staffy 3rd. Springbok Gamer 4th on a brilliant one stop. Cowboy in 5th. Death Seeker 6th. Judge 7th. And Astronica in 8th. Those were your finishes. And then your DNFs. Henno, Pitt, Flix, who showed a lot of pace in qualifying. Blixenp, and then obviously Thomas. So there we have it. There was your first broadcast race of Tier 2 in TnB. It was we had a few teething problems. It's a difficult start, but hopefully we'll have a much better go of it next week. For anybody who watched, anybody who joined us, and anybody who's going to watch this later, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again same time next week. Thanks guys. Cheers.